Good morning. Another day at Fairymount Farm. We're going to feed them some pigs today, some more pumpkins, and move the sheep, set up the fence for the cows to come back. I had to shift them out of the grass, the long grass, because I haven't been here a couple of days, been really busy with marketing and going to the butcher, etc. So I just for a minute put the cows back out the paddock. But we'll set up their fence again and move them onto some longer grass. And I've got to fix the front fence. So come with me and see what I do today. I've been fixing up this little trailer this morning. Needed a bracket welded on it, and the tyres need to be pumped up and fixed, and fortunately there doesn't seem to be any holes in the tyres. They were just very flat, so we pumped them up and welded the bracket up, and then I had to make a attachment so I could put it on my quad bike. And I just thought that this would be a lot easier to carry the pumpkins out to the pigs, or other feed out to the pigs, instead of trying to balance them on the back of the bike. So yeah, let's see how this goes. It's a bit hard to back. I'm used to backing trailers and trucks and what have you, but this is really tough to back. Probably because all the connections are a little bit sloppy, a lot of movement in it. So yeah, it was a bit of fun trying to back it into the shed here to get the pumpkins put in. We'll give them the button-up pumpkins out of this bin first, I think, as this one's not full. And when I was shifting it, I lifted the cardboard up, so they're coming out the bottom a little bit. So we'll use these ones up first, and then we'll move on to those. So let me fill up the trailer, and I'll meet you out with the pigs. Okay, so these are my sows. We're keeping these to breed on from. So she's a Duroc, Tamworth, and the two black and whites are Duroc saddlebacks. So we're going to the auction in a little while, next month I think, to have a look to see if we can buy a boyfriend for them. It's very difficult to find breeding stock for outside, running pigs outside in the sun. Most piggeries in Australia are designed for commercial indoor piggeries that are concentrating on landrace and large white, and they just burn to a crisp out here in our sun. So I'm looking for coloured pigs, but coloured pigs with some production. So yeah, sounds like they're hungry, so let's get on and feed them. So I hope you can hear with all this wind, and I apologise for the wind, but these pigs here are the ones we're fattening for market. So they again are saddleback Duroc crosses, and they're actually the same litter as the other black and white ones we've kept for being sows. But these we got actually a month later, and they just don't seem to have the growth rate that those ones do. Yes, the fence is working, but they never learn. They always get a zap, but they never go through it. So here I've actually used 3-strand wire. It's totally unnecessary, but that's the way the farm I got the pigs from operate. Now I only use 2 strands or 1 strand. Much easier to make the fences. These pigs are hungry too. Let's give them their pumpkins. So you can see they really love their pumpkins. They really love pumpkins. Funny thing is they all go for the seeds first. Once they've eaten all the seeds, then they eat all the flesh, and then they eat all the skin. But they do eat it all up, and a couple of hours there'll be no pumpkins left whatsoever here. Some of the bigger ones I split up through them with a shovel. But most of the button-up pumpkins they can actually eat themselves. They don't have to split them up, but I often do, because the pigs like that. Yeah, these are the pigs. So this is the gap in the front fence. There's a natural little gully here that the water runs down and has just taken out this piece of fence here. We do have it as a breakaway fence, so when the water does get too much for it, it will break away and not take the rest of the fence. But and as you can see, it comes down this little bit of a gully down here, through the fence, over to the culvert, and then continues its way down to the creek, which is at the tree line in the distance there, on the other side of our creek flat country. It's never really broken away as bad as this before, but with that last flood and the fact that the neighbours have put up a levee bank on their side of the fence, on their side of the creek, sorry, it's pushed more water over our side and caused more damage to our boundary fence here along the road. So the breakaway fence has done its job. It hasn't taken the rest of the fence, but the rest of the fence got a bit nailed as well. Eventually we're going to have to replace the entire front fence, but at the moment we just patch it up to keep the sheep in. So yeah, I'll put the fence up and show you what it looked like at the end. Right, so I moved the sheep. I did a number on this paddock. You can see they really took all that thatch out of this grass that the chickens were not eating, and hopefully it'll come away again. But yes, we put them back out into the front paddock on the other side of that little cottage. Yeah, the grass was just like this in there, but they knocked it down, which was good because it was just becoming overwhelming, and as you can see, it's revealed all these little chicken dugout holes, which when you were trying to walk on it, you just fell in and broke your ankle on them. So yeah, it'd be nice to actually now shift the chickens and fill in some of these holes and smooth it all out, but that's another project for another day and another time. So I've pulled up the fence. It's not pretty, but hopefully it'll keep the sheep in. Just wanted to give you a tip for pulling up a fence or pulling anything together. There's these tie down ratchet straps. I do have a fence strainer, but in this case I wanted something to go strain off that post, which is a bit further up, which is a little bit more stable, and that extra length that these tie down straps give can really span a little bit more distance and pull them up. So things have moved a bit, and there's a big gap here that I'm going to fill in with a bit of wire as I tie it back to the fence. So hopefully that'll close the gap enough to deter the sheep. These sheep are pretty good. They don't really find holes too much, but when you have the whole section missing, they can just walk straight through it. I'll show you what it's like when it's finished. Alright, so the fence is all up. I've tied it up with some wire there. I think that'll keep those sheep out. They're not really the type of sheep that run away anyway. If they do get out, they'll just come back up to the homestead. So hopefully that'll plug the gap for a while until we get the funds together to replace this front fence. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a nice shiny new front fence. It's all a bit built up with silt and dilapidated and needs a dozer through here and a redoing. Alright, I'm packing up here and on to the next job, which is setting up the paddock for the new paddock to shift the steers into. I'll see you there. So this is the area I'm going to move the steers to. Under the trees here, there's a machinery loading ramp under these trees, and in the middle is where our household domestic sewage water is expelled, and we have a little, behind the cottage here we have a little sewage treatment plant, so that it is always quite damp here, and even in the dry times it does grow grass because of that sewage output. It is treated, as I said, treated, not potable water, but it's great for growing grass. Must be full of nutrients as well. Dad's bees are here as well. He's got a couple of beehives. He does some interesting things with his beehives. He's got horizontal ones as well as the standard beehive there too. Always paints some nice colourful colours, which is always a bit of fun. Not so fun if you're standing too close and they bite you though, or sorry, sting. I'm not a very good fan of bees. I don't react very well to bee stings. I'm a bit allergic to them. I don't go into anaphylactic shock or anything, but I do react and have big and swell up, so I steer clear of bees and wasps, and let Dad, but he produces some really good honey, and he's won a few prizes with his honey, so and they're very important too to pollinate the veggie garden, but yeah, they're his thing, and sometimes I have to help him because they do get very heavy when they're full of honey, but yes, I do suit up really tightly so no bees can get in and give him a hand, and that's okay. But he's got one hive that are quite aggressive, and when that happens you need to requeen them. He's not quite competent enough to identify the queen, to destroy the old queen and put a new queen in. So he's got this one really angry hive. But anyway, we're going to run the steers in here, so I need to put an electric fence around this area, and don't cut off the road, so we still got access. And then probably tomorrow, I think I'm running out of daylight. It is overcast and we might get a storm tonight, hopefully. We need a little bit more rain. The coast is getting a lot of rain at the moment, but we're on the western side of the Great Divide. We seem to miss out all the time. Just the way the mountains are, they block all the rain coming from the east, so that's normal, but it'd be nice to get a little bit more rain top up before it gets really cold in winter. We've still got enough daytime warmth to grow a little bit of grass. We're running out of warmth, so yeah, I'm going to start putting in some posts, and I'll catch you guys later. As you can see, daylight's beating me again. I didn't get the steer enclosure finished. All the posts are in, the star pickets, the fiberglass poles, they're all in. I didn't quite finish putting the electric wire around, and of course I didn't put the cattle in there. So that's a job for tomorrow. So join me again for another day on the farm at Fairymount Farms. Bye.